Hello guys, welcome back to my channel after a long time. So I am going to join my first SIP as a 4th engineer after getting my COC. So guys, in this video I am going to answer the diversified questions related to my COC and all. Like how did I prepare for my COC, which type of COC do I hold, and which type of SIP I am going to join, how much time did I take to complete my COC, and so on. So this video is going to be very useful for you, so stay tuned with the video. So what type of COC do I hold? So I hold dual COC, which means I have both the tickets, steam as well as motor. That means I can sail on the steam ships as well as the motor ships as an operational watchkeeping engineer. So for applying for the dual license, you must have minimum 4 months of sea experience at the steam ship, and similarly at the same time you must have the sea experience at the motor ship for 4 months as well. So I had almost 10 months of the sea experience including both the ships, so I could be easily eligible for the dual license. So the difference is that if you are going to apply for motor license, you will have to appear in only 10 exams, like 6 written and 4 oral. But if you are going to appear for the dual license, you will have to appear for 12 exams, 5 orals and 7 writtens. Like there will be 2 extra paper, steam, written and oral both. So that was about my COC. Once you sign off after completing your C time as a cadet or TME or 5th engineer, whatever you say, so then you will have to come at home and before you go for assessment, you will have to do few things. Like you will have to do, it's compulsory to do 4 courses, that is MFA, PSCRB and ERS and AFF. So while you are doing your course at any institute, you will have to book the course, and at the same time, at the parallel time, you must be taking care of your tar book and everything is cleared or not. If there is no note sign, if there is note sign of your company representative or whatever, if you don't have C service level, if there is any fault in testimonial, so by the time you should correct it and you should make it ready by the end of your course. So suppose once you finish your course, then you can apply for the assessment on e-Pariksha. So you will have to apply for the assessment. Once you apply for the assessment at e-Pariksha, so then you will have to submit all the papers manually at the MMD, concerned MMD where did you apply for the assessment. So once your assessment got cleared, you will get the EXN number, then they will approve it, and once it get approved, then you will be eligible to book exam on e-Pariksha. So let me tell you first, if you are going to ask 100 people who had cleared their COC in the past, so you are going to get 100 preparation strategy for the same exam, and you are going to be the 101 person who is going to clear the exam. So the first thing is that you cannot copy completely anyone. So I am also one of them and I am sharing my strategy. So yeah, it could be helpful at some time, but at the end of the day you will have to make your strategy by your own. So the very interesting question is that how did I prepare for the exams? If you are watching this video, you must be, I think you must have joined many WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, whatever related to the class 4 material, where you must be getting like every exam questions, oral questions, where people are frequently posting the questions what were asked in the oral exams and so on. So you must be joining all the WhatsApp groups. I was also joined at that WhatsApp group, and I just collected all the previous year questions as well. So yeah, at the same time there were many notes floating here and there, and at that time there was not much idea what type of question will be asked in subjective exam, because we were just throwing the surprise questions every month, like in October, November, December. So after December, January, February, they started repeating the questions. So nowadays, like, you have plenty of questions that if you will rely on that and you will solve all the previous year questions, it may work out. But at that time there was no any sets of questions other than doing like 2001 questions, 2003 questions, because in August I think it started only subjective paper, so it was completely new for us. So there are few basic books I followed for the preparation. Like for motor I followed Devan Arhana, and for naval architecture very basic RITS book. If you are going to study that RITS volume 8, I can guarantee you will solve all the numerical and you are going to pass the naval architecture for sure. There are 9 chapters and you just solve all the examples and exercise, you will pass. Safety, see, for safety it's very easy to clear safety But I have seen many cases. One of my friend MMD just keep on failing, even if he writing everything. There are few students who are just hunt of, you can say, the luck, bad luck, hunt of the bad luck. They are just failing continuously. But pass rate of safety written is the highest, I will tell you. So for safety, I just follow Kunjal Sa. There is a notes available. You must have the Kunjal Sa PDF notes. So I had physical copy of that for safety. And for MEP, I followed AP Singh. Whenever you are going to fill the exams for written motor, you always fill motor, general and MEP together, because you will see many times the questions are getting intermixing with all three subjects, motor, MEP and general. So if you will fill all three papers separately, then you will have to study same thing again and again. At the same time, it will also help in you motor and MEP oral. So all three things should be always together when you are going to fill the written exam. So for that, you must read complete Devanarana from beginning to end, and with that you can also follow the AP Singh notes. That would be sufficient, I think. I didn't study Ritankar Sen, but many of my friends also study Ritankar Sen, so you can follow that also. But my honest preparation method is genuinely what I used to do. I used to complete the syllabus. I do not used to rely on the previous year questions that time, because you cannot rely, because if you are not getting 2 or 3 question match, then you are getting upset in the exam hall, and ultimately you end up with the bad examination. So I always used to revise or look after the question papers before the examination, or 1 or 2 days before the examination. Before that, I used to follow the complete syllabus. I used to study the books thoroughly, and believe me, if you will study the books, it will deepen your concept as well, and it will boost up your confidence as well in the concept. So you must study the book. If you are doing courses, you start studying the book right now. I just told you the few basic books. Like if you will study 3 or 4 books, that will be enough for you, and together with that also follow the notes available to you. One of the important part of my preparation strategy was also to watch different videos from YouTube. Sometimes you study from like a book, and you are getting in between or getting confused on the basis of your previous knowledge and the knowledge you are getting right now. So there is some contradiction and there is some misunderstanding. So you just go on YouTube and just write the chapter, and you will get plenty of videos, and just to pick a video which suits you good, and just go with it and just make a small notes and carry forward. So YouTube also helped a lot in preparing for CUC exams, because I have studied all these electrical things from YouTube, like induction motors, generators, all concept I revised from YouTube. So there are many things you can learn from YouTube also, like also metallurgical graphs, like iron carbon diagram, how to learn the tricks. Sometimes they will ask you 14 number questions. So there are good videos related to that also. There are some animation videos related to motor and MEP also available there. There are many creators who are making technical videos. At the same time, you will have to alert also. Nowadays for electrical, you can rely on previous year questions as well, but with that you will have to also study some notes. And I studied there is a notes in Kolkata, just floating jam Hatadi notes. I studied that, and there is a book DT Hall. So for the depth of study, you can study the DT Hall if you have time. And for numerical, you should follow the reads. There are 2 numerical books for the reads electrical. One is basic and one is advanced. So if you will do basic exercises that is given at the end, that will also help you. And before going to the exam, you just solve all the numericals asked earlier in the electrical. So I think that will be enough for the written examination in the electrical. And for the oral in the electrical, you just see the surveyor sets of questions and so answer it, and you will be ready for the exam. So I will tell you one conclusion. I will tell you one thing that mostly people say in Kolkata MMD, that if you will pass safety written very easily, and you will pass electrical oral very easily. So these 2 sets of examinations are very easy to clear. But I told you earlier, so there are cases who stuck in some single paper, and they keep on stucking. I don't know how, what is the algorithm, how does it work. It's completely beyond the explanation. So you cannot do anything. It's nothing in your hand until you are clear with all the examinations and COC in your hand, because each and every single step in this procedure are like very very particular, and you will have to be particular, and you cannot commit any mistakes until you receive your COC, because ultimately your COC is the bread and butter for you as a being marine engineer. So I hope you understood this. What should be the strategy to apply for the examinations, oral or written examinations? I will suggest the best strategy is that you just apply 3 written and 2 orals, like motor MEP and general written and motor MEP orals in 1 month, and go for safety electrical and naval architecture for another month, and electrical safety oral for another month. What will happen if you will follow like this? Every month you will end up with some examinations if you fail also. But if you if you will apply for all 10 examinations in 1 month, it's very difficult for you. If you are getting failed, you are going to sit for 1 month without any examination. So sitting dull, it will not motivate you to study, because there is no exam in this month, so you will be little off track. So it's better to just divide it in half and just keep carry on. So a day will come, you will end up with passing all subject, and you will be applying for COC. So preparation strategy for orals. You cannot put same strategy for written orals, but it could be quite different also. But when you are preparing for the written, it will also help in your oral examination, or if you are preparing for oral, it will also help in your written examination. You never know which type of question will come in front of you at which time. Okay, I have studied at that time, so suddenly you will remember that much of the time you will have to revise the same content. So revision is very important for these oral things. So suppose you keep your source limited. Don't just jump over various resources again and again. I will suggest you, if you are keeping Devan Rana in your resource list, just keep one AP Singh, and you just revise such number of times. So everything will be on your tips. If they will ask, you are going to answer. But if you are keep rotating, if you are continuing to rotate the resource, then you are not going to revise properly, and you will end up with the failing in the interview. So revision is the main key for the interview, because you don't have much time for the reaction in the oral examination, and you will have to promptly you will have to pop up with the answer at the same time, without any hesitation and without any loss in confidence. As you saw any loss in confidence inside the room, they will just throw you out from the room, or they will again come up with another explosion of the questions, and you will be completely dead over there. So confidence is very important in oral examination. So first of all, you will have to consider it as examination. It's not any like interview type of things. So they want proper answers, and it's also depends on the surveyor, like which surveyor are going to come. So if you will prepare according to surveyor, there are list of the questions, and you just know which person is going to give exam with you. There is a list here, you will find on the email. So these 20 people or 24 people are going to appear in the oral examination on that particular date. So just if one of your friend is there in that list, just communicate with them, discuss with them all the list of the questions one by one. So because there are many external surveyors who has just a list of questions, they will just keep on repeating from that question also, and once you will go inside and you will not be able to answer, and you will come out and you will check that list, so you will be surprised, oh shit, why didn't I study this list of the questions. It's not completely about the talent. Oral exam is also about you can say a bit of luck. Hard work is also there. If you have knowledge, that's the highest priority, but bit of luck, which surveyor is there, and at the same time how was your body language, and how did you answer the questions, how smartly. So all these things factors combined, and there are few internals who will ask you decider questions. So suppose external asked you 5 questions and you didn't answer 1 or 2 question completely, or they didn't satisfy, though they will ask you decider. If you will answer their decider question, they will pass you. If you will not, they will not pass you. In that case, you will have to prepare for their decider question also. So surveyor wise, answers and questions is very important for the oral. Group discussions are very important in the case of oral examinations, or at the same time it will also help you in written. Just discuss with your friends who you were trying to solve the questions and who you were appearing in the exams with you, so it will help you a lot. Just discuss. If possible, you can also arrange mock interview for one another, and then review each other. So how did you answer and what should we answer, and together with each other we should cooperate each other and prepare for the examinations. And hope I will tell you, it's better not to answer than answering wrong in the oral examinations, because if you once you get into the wrong answer, they will just diagnose that question only. Suppose you are 80-20 or 70-30 on some questions. If you give any room to the surveyor, if he will come to know you are 70-30 or you are confused, they will confuse you more, or he will go deep. So it's better, sorry sir, I have no idea, I will get it later, and right now I am getting confused. So just confess and go to the next question. Don't just carry forward and bullshit him, or these don't argue with them. Just do have a healthy argument if you are 100% sure. So for oral examinations, one basic things that you should always keep in your mind, that if he is going to ask you basic questions, you are not going to commit mistake. You are certainly you are going to answer the questions. I have seen many cases, even with me once. You are preparing everything here and there, that question, tough question you are doing, but sometimes they ask you very silly questions and you get silent there. So they are certainly going to fail you. So when you are going for oral exams, always make clear that I am not going to do any bullshit or any mistake in the basic questions first, because 80% of the cases they are failing you basic questions only. Suppose you have studied everything, but you will go, they will suddenly ask you what is angle of LOL, and you just confused in telling the proper definition. So he will just make negative impression. So that type of basic questions. So you should keep all these definitions on your tips. I think these small things, formulas. If suppose you will go and he will suddenly ask you what is the formula of MCTI 1 centimeter. Yes, you have read a lots of numerical, but at that same time you are confused. MCTI 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. So the formula is not coming in your mind. So suddenly he will ask you any loose things, and he will throw loose balls, and you are you are expecting that bouncer will come and you will hit uppercut, but it's getting into wicket and you are bored. So it is. I have seen this happening many times. So always be prepared for the basic questions. Always. Luck matters, but yeah, your answer also matters a lot. So the combination of luck, labor, chance just result into the success. So that I will say. Another example is that suppose you are going to he is going to ask you bumping clearance, how to measure bumping clearance, everything you answered, and suddenly he asks you what is free air delivery, and you are silent. You are not able to answer the question. So this type of thing. Suppose they ask you questions from refrigeration, what is the purpose of TV and everything, you answered everything. Suddenly he asked you what is degree of superheat, you are silent. He is certainly going to fail you. So I am telling you, this type of small things you can never miss. You will have to remember, you will have to understand the concept, and you will have to be able to explain all these things, basic concepts, to the surveyor. So yeah, if they wish to pass you, they will pass. If they wish to fail you, they can ask. There is simple things. They will ask you hardest question if you are bad luck. So yeah, I will request you never argue with the surveyor, because it always make negative impression, and sometimes they also remember the face. If you counter the same person again, it might get into trouble. So never argue with them. Politely accept the result, and yeah. Say thank you and just run away from there. So that's the simple thing you should do. And trust me, the best thing about this whole process, entire examination process, is that you know the result. It's not like UPSC exams, or it's not like any SSC CGL exams where you are among the crores of people and there is no fate. You don't know whether we are going to pass or not. the best thing about the COC exams are you are going to pass. The ultimately difference is going to be 2 months, 3 months, or 1 month, maximum 4 to 5 months. That's it. Yeah. So whenever you are getting depressed or thinking like when I will complete, so just think, yeah, I will pass, I know, but how soon or how late, that's the concern. So that is the good thing, that we are going to pass. That thing in our hand. Ultimately we will pass, whether it will take 1 attempt, 2 attempt, or 3 attempt, ultimately we will pass. So that is the result which is already out for COC exams. That is, I think, the positive part of the exam process. So how much time did I take to complete my COC exams? So I will tell you, for written I didn't take much time. Within 3 months, almost in one attempt I completed all written exams, except 4V function, and oral takes few more attempts, some first, some second, some third. So I completed my entire examinations in 6.5 months, almost 6.5 months. All 12 papers I got cleared, and then I applied for COC. And okay, how much time does it take after clearing all the exams to get your COC? Yeah, good question. So if your all documents are ready, so applying for COC is very easy, because you have already submitted all the documents in Pariksha while assessment. So once your result get updated on the website ePariksha, so generally written takes 1 week or 2 week to get updated on the website, but oral gets updated instantly. So if you are clearing your COC with oral, so yeah, on the same day you can apply for COC. But for written you will have to wait until it gets updated on the website. Yeah. So once it gets updated, you can apply, you can submit. So they will review your all documents. For first 1 week they will just make you run here and there, upload clean photo, upload this. Once you clearly upload everything, they will just approve it. Once it get approved, it will take 2 more weeks after getting dispatched. Like, you can keep 1 month in your pocket. Within 1 month you will surely, in more than 99 cases, more than 99% cases, you must be getting your COC within 1 month if you will proactively apply for COC just instantly after the clearing all the exams. So guys, I am signing off from this video and signing on my first vessel as an officer, that is lightering vessel from Los Angeles crude oil carrier. So I wish you all guys all the best for the exams, and see you soon there as an officer with your COC in your hand. And if you really found this video useful for you, just don't forget to subscribe. And if you want more videos like this, just write in the comment. I will be there to make videos. And I am really sorry for making videos after a long time, because I was also preparing for exam. But देर आए दुरुस्त आए, अब वीडियो बनाते रहेंगे. आप लोगों का सपोर्ट चाहिए, सब्सक्राइब करिए और भी लोगों तक इस वीडियो को पहुंचाइए. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. फिर मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में.